I'm moving.
Peace. What's good, guys? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's get into this miserable, boring, nonsensical show known as AEW Dynamite for May the 3rd, 2023. But before we do, we got a little bit of news and notes to discuss, just a little bit. I'm not going to do too much. I might do maybe like 2. So, first, Tony Khan has officially gotten rid of Dark and Dark Elevation. Those 2 are no more, which is great. It actually makes sense. So they are going to go forward with Collision. I don't know why, because you don't need Collision at all. You just don't. You could really put CM Punk and FTR on Rampage and move it to Thursdays. Live. 2 hours. That's what I would do. You don't need to have AEW Collision. Again, you don't need another show. You just don't. Not right now. You don't. It shouldn't even be in the mix at all. Because your Saturdays should be strictly just for pay-per-views. And pay-per-views only. That's it. But that's Tony Khan for you. It is what it is. And I would actually use ROH as their version of NXT. Because now they're going to turn ROH into the new Dark and Dark Elevation, which is absolutely stupid. It doesn't make any sense. No. They need to make ROH AEW's version of NXT. And that's what it should serve as. That means you bring in some established guys who aren't doing anything on AEW, and you put them in, you put them in ROH, and you make ROH into a live YouTube show for 2 hours. And you give us storylines and everything else. And that's how you use ROH. That's how ROH should be used as. It should be used as a feeder system. And then after they've been there for a while and they're over as whether they be a babyface or a heel, and after they've got some reps under them, then you move them on to Rampage or Dynamite. That's what they really should do, because that's what makes the most sense. Because everything else just would be stupid. Because that means you wasted your money on buying ROH. If you're just going to make it just the new Dark and Dark Elevation, that's dumb. That really is dumb. Then why would you even buy the brand? Why? If this was going to be the case, then Tony Khan would have been better off by just letting just ROH just die. I hate to say that, but that's really what should have happened. Because there's no need for them to have Collision. There's just no need. I don't know. But that's what I would do. If I was booking things, I would have ROH be my version of NXT, where we do a live 2-hour show, not on television, but just on YouTube. And you can put it maybe on Tuesday nights. Yeah, actually, yeah, for real. On Tuesday nights. I think that would be cool. That's what I would do. Moving on. Second piece of note. So, Will Washington from Fightful is now All Elite. Now, Tony Khan said that he's going to give him a coordinator position. He's going to be helping with live events, creative and something else. This to me is okay, but does he have actual credentials? Meaning, did he go to school to be a creative writer? Meaning, does he have like a bachelor's or a master's degree in these certain fields? I mean, my bad, for this certain position. I get that he's done podcasting and all that stuff and everything else, but to me, you need to be qualified as possible. You have to, for qualifications, you have to have a degree, whether it be an associate's or a bachelor's degree in creative writing as a bare minimum to get the actual position. And he probably does. I would assume that he does. But this is kind of cool. But personally, I wouldn't have done this. Meaning, I would have already had a writing team and everything else. AEW, they already listen to their internet fan base anyway, because that's the majority of their fans. Let's just be honest. The majority of AEW fans are within the IWC and the YWC. That's their fans. That's their hardcore niche audience. That really is what their fan base consists of. Let's just be honest. Personally, I wish him the best, but if I were Tony Khan, I would not have done this at all. I would have already have had a writing team picked out, and it would have consisted of at least maybe 8 to 10 people within the industry. Within the actual industry. I don't know. That's what I would have done. I wish them the best, but I don't know. Again, that's Tony Khan for you. But I do think that whenever you get people from the IWC involved who don't really have really any experience in the actual business, it's not a good look. I mean, I get if you've worked for an indie company for a couple years, for a few years and stuff like that, and you've got connections within the industry, that's fine with me. But if you don't, and you've just done podcasting and all that, and you're just a content creator, no. Oh, no. Because to me, that's not right. To me, it just isn't right. It should be a thing of where you have your actual credentials. You need actual credentials because this is a legit, real job. So therefore, you should have to meet the qualifications. You should have your degrees, and you should have experience working with 1 or 2 wrestling promotions. That should be your qualifications. And I get that he's related to Swerve to some extent, but even still, I still wouldn't have put him in that position. That's just me, though. But I wish him the best. All right, enough of that. So, moving on to the main show. Moving on to the show. So, 8-man tag to kick off the show. Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Bandito, and Orange Cassidy versus the Jericho Appreciation Society. Adam Cole gets the win here. Post-match, he attacks Chris Jericho. They have a pull-apart brawl. And security, they escort, they pull apart Adam Cole from Chris Jericho. Okay, cool. Moving on. Well, actually, no. Before we move on, this match needs a stipulation. I don't think that a one-on-one match would be the best way to go about it. Not right now, at least. I would rather them give us like a no DQ or a steel cage or something like that. We need a stipulation at Double or Nothing for these two guys. Not just a one-on-one match. No. With what Jericho did and how they booked it so far, no. We need an actual stipulation for this feud. All right, moving on. So Jungle Boy and Darby, they're being interviewed backstage by Renee Paquette. So Jack Perry says they don't like each other, but they got a couple of things in common. They've been here since day one, and they both busted their asses to get where they are now. And they never main evented a pay-per-view, but they're going to be in the main event at Double or Nothing after tonight. Darby says, by hook or by crook, they're going to be in that main event, and one of them is going home with the title, and it'll be Showtime. So, Adam Cole, he's being escorted from the arena by security. Chris Jericho has some choice words for Adam Cole. He shouts about how Adam Cole is dangerous. Then Dr. Britt Baker, she slaps him. She yells at Chris Jericho, and she tears his shirt. And so Jericho's still complaining about that. Okay, that's fine. This was a great segment that was up next, that being the Blackpool Combat Club. So Bryan Danielson says that there's a certain legend who said he was the best there was, the best there is, and the best there ever will be, a.k.a. Bret Hart, but didn't get the foresight to see that someone would be better than him, and he's better than that legend, and if he's not, one of the other Blackpool guys are. He knows that there will be better wrestlers than him one day, and hell, he even hopes that Wheeler Yuta, the little shit, ends up being better than him. Unlike the Elite, they want to be the best wrestling. They want AEW to be the best wrestling company possible, and they'll do anything to make that happen. I agree with Danielson about everything else, except for Wheeler Yuta. No, Wheeler Yuta sucks. Get him the fuck out. So John Moxley says that they're blades searching for pieces of iron to sharpen each other, and the Elite should be grateful to be sharpened. They're not bullies. Higher levels, bigger devils. And there was a time when the Elite were on the cutting edge, but he doesn't know anymore. So Moxley says that there's going to be a steel cage match next week. That hits different, don't it? 2019, 2020 may as well have been a decade ago, facts. And every day they get better, new tools, new weapons, and a whole new John Moxley. He can't wait to show Kenny Omega next week. He promises he's going to leave one hell of a mark. Great. I love this. This was absolutely fantastic promos by both Moxley and Danielson. Loved it. Moving on. Saraya, she defeated Willow Nightingale via the Rampage DDT. Post-match, Hikaru Shida, who's been gone for months, who I thought that she may have been released. I'm not going to hold you up. I thought she was maybe quietly released. So she temporarily joins the Outcast, but it was all a ruse because Team Dr. Britt Baker came out, and then Shida went batshit crazy with a kendo stick and beat down the Outcast. So that was cool, I guess, but it's not really that important. Next, the House of Black. So they're out next in a dark room. They said that the trio titles are tainted and serve as a reminder in this company that some get away with murder and some are punished for following the rules. Change starts when people act, and welcome to the open house. No shortcuts, no escape, no mercy. Any 3 competitors can challenge for the titles under the following rules. 20 count on the floor. No rope breaks. Disqualifications will be enforced or not at the request of the challengers, because that's the only way to truly make it fair. Okay, so I like this. Interesting stuff here. What was not interesting and what was worthless was the Tres de Mayo Trios Battle Royal. This should have been action on the show. This should have been on Rampage. This really should have taken place on Rampage. The Acclaim get the win here. That's all I'm going to say. Who cares? This shit should have been on Rampage. Come on. Next, we get a really good little promo by Kenny Omega and Don Callis. So Don Callis shows us a pretty bad scar on his forehead and says that he thinks about it every day, and that Mox's heavy hands can't beat his brains and Kenny Omega's talent. Kenny Omega says there's no planet in this universe where John can touch him, and he might make Kenny bleed, but at the end of the day, everything comes to an end in Detroit. Nice. And then Kenny Omega also says this whole effort will be fruitless if they did what they did to him and the Bucks. The Young Bucks and the Dawn. They made it personal, and it ends next week. Next, Wardlow. He defeated a jobber by the name of Logan Easton LaRox via the Powerbomb Symphony. Wardlow, post-match, calls out Christian Cage and demands that he and Luchasaurus accept the open challenge for the TNT Championship right here and now. Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, they come out. Christian Cage says he sent his right hand, he could send his right hand man of destruction, right hand of destruction to the ring now. Right now if he wanted to, but that's not going to happen. Especially not in Baltimore, especially because he wants the title shot for himself and not Luchasaurus. This is great. It makes a lot of sense. A, Christian Cage needs to win, and B, this needs to be made into an actual feud. So this is what I would do. I would have Christian Cage defeat Wardlow at Double or Nothing, and then this continues their feud for a while, because I think that Wardlow needs to chase, and I'm serious. Wardlow needs to actually chase and be built back up, because just him doing squash matches every week to me is boring. It's boring. Wardlow needs an actual feud or feuds to build him up. You can only do this jobber shit. Him defeating jobbers for so long. After like a month or two of this, I'm tired of it. We need actual feuds. And if Christian Cage can defeat Wardlow, which he probably will, then I'm all for it. Moving on. So we had a segment involving the most useless person in wrestling, a.k.a. Sanjay Dutt. Jeff Jarrett and Satnam Singh, they roll up to help out Mark Briscoe at the Briscoe farm. They helped him out with chores. This was to make up for what went wrong in the ring. Jeff Jarrett was about to play with my baby tonight, but thankfully Papa Briscoe, he rolls up and they all dip out. So Papa Briscoe has a heart-to-heart with Mark Briscoe, saying that he knows Lethal is okay, but he doesn't trust the rest of them. Jay challenges FTR for the tag titles at Double or Nothing and asks for tips on how to beat them. Again, this didn't need to be on the show. And the match itself, FTR versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, that could take place on a Dynamite or even a Rampage. Seriously. It's not a pay-per-view quality type of match, if you catch my drift. What didn't catch my drift and I wanted to bang my head against the wall was that little shit Juice Robinson versus Absolute Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks defeats Juice Robinson. Juice Robinson, get the fuck off my television. You suck, bro. You suck. So, post-match, Jay White attempts to beat down Ricky Starks, and Ricky was able to come back, and he was about to hit the shampoo, but Shitty Juice makes the save. We get a hype-up reel for the firm deletion. That's going to take place on Rampage. Who cares? So, Darby Allin and Jungle Boy, they're getting ready for their match backstage. They're fired up. Darby leaves MJF. Darby leaves for a second. MJF slides in to talk to Jungle Boy. MJF said that he thinks that the two of them could be on top of the company if Jungle Boy would just drop the Goody Two-Shoes act. Just look at what he's done for Sammy. And all he has to do is cost Darby the match tonight. And why give up his spot in the main event? Max says he loves Jack like a brother, but he's not world championship material, which is correct. And he's offering him a seat next week to the throne. So Jungle Boy slaps his hand away and says that he's looking for the crown, and Darby comes in looking for him. And then they have a tense little moment. Main event, the Pillars tag team match, Jungle Boy and Darby Allin versus MJF and Sammy Guevara. Darby Allin and Jungle Boy, they get the win here. Towards the end of the match, Sammy Guevara turns on MJF. He super kicks him, and I think he walks out. And Darby gets the win via the coffin drop. No, my bad. MJF walks out on Guevara. And so Guevara eats the pinfall. And MJF post-match is pissed. And that was the show. Overall, the show itself sucked. It wasn't that good. Tony Khan has 4 weeks to actually build us a compelling card for Double or Nothing. And this didn't do it. This felt complete filler. This was completely filler-based. A lot of this shit could have happened on Rampage, honestly. But this show, for the most part, was not good. What did you guys think? So please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below, and subscribe to my videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.